The Kawasaki ZH2, everybody, welcome back to another video on this awesome motorcycle. Now today we're actually going to be going over something very simple, but something that's becoming more and more common in modern day motorcycles, that is cruise control. So today we're going to go over how it works and when is best to use it on two wheels. So let's jump on and let's go. So on the ZH2 here, these are the controls for the cruise control. They might look a little bit different to your bike, but they all work in a very similar way. Now the thing is, on a lot of these kinds of roads, cruise control isn't really that suitable. Because, I mean, unless you're doing a commute, a lot of the time you're going to be riding on roads that are, well, roads that are twistier, you know? And when it comes to using cruise control on twisty roads, it's not really that practical to use. At least in my humble opinion anyway. So, I mean, those are the types of roads that we're going to be using today to get to work this morning. So, I mean, we'll see if at any point it becomes practical to use. I'm sure it will be. Because if you're active when you use it, yeah, it can be very useful, and you may find yourself using it on a more regular basis, unlike me. I mean, the thing is, like, when it comes to bikes, twisting a throttle isn't exactly that difficult, you know? Holding your hand on the throttle isn't that difficult. It's harder to hold your foot on a pedal in a car than it is on a bike, in my opinion, holding the throttle open on a bike. So for me, in my cars, I use cruise control on a very regular basis, especially if I'm doing a longer journey. And the same applies to bikes as well, although you wouldn't find me using it as much on a motorcycle than you would in one of my cars. Now, I'm not sure about cars on this one actually, but on bikes, I mean, on this ZH2 here, I don't think I can use it. Oh, I can use it in fourth gear. It might be third gear that I can't use it on, I don't know, we'll check that out in a minute. But the crazy thing is that on a bike like this, even like second gear, you can go pretty damn quick. But I suppose the difference is you wouldn't be cruising at higher revs, would you? But yeah, in fourth gear, third and fourth gear, you absolutely could be cruising, depending on the speed of the road. But let's try third gear here. Well, if I can get out of the way of some of this traffic. Yeah, I'm riding out on all the school traffic this morning. Alright, let's try third gear. Yeah, okay, it works in third gear on the ZH2, that's cool. But that's basically how you use it, you guys. I mean, we'll run through it in a little bit more detail here in a second once we've got past this traffic, but it's quite intuitive and quite simple to use these days on bikes. I'm not sure if like first generation cruise control on motorcycles was different or less convenient to use or more difficult to use. I don't know. You guys let me know. I mean, as far as I'm aware, cruise control started coming out on bikes en masse maybe in the last 5 to 10 years. You didn't really see cruise control on bikes before then. Although, pretty sure there are mods you can get where you can retrofit cruise control to a motorcycle. Hopefully once we get out of this traffic, we'll be in a better position, but gosh, yeah, more traffic here than usual today. But that's the thing, you guys, the cruise control on a bike like this is just at your fingertips. There are other bikes where it's a little bit more difficult trying to use the cruise control, or it's less ergonomic to reach for the cruise control buttons. Like from here on this bike, I can reach the buttons quite easily, you know. Alright, I don't have to look for them. I mean, that's the thing though, most people, they probably would, wouldn't they? They probably would look for the buttons before they actually press them, which is fine because you would be normally in a position to do that, where you could take your eyes off the road for a second or two, but it really isn't a long process to to get the cruise control going. I mean, the only problem is that on this bike, the cruise control is always off until you turn it on. Now, with most cruise control systems in cars, there's like a switch or a button you've got to press to enable the cruise control, but a lot of the time you can leave that switch on, whereas on the ZH2 here, you have to press the button every time to get that little cruise control icon to show up there. Now, you can actually change the look of the dashboard on the ZH2, and I haven't actually used the cruise control, I don't think, with the other dashboard design, so it might be in a slightly different place, but that's what you're looking for, that little grey kind of speedometer symbol, tachometer symbol. That's what you know the bike is ready to use cruise control. And then from here, I mean, it's just a case of using the set button, which is underneath here, the minus button, or set, to set your speed. You can increase your speed and decrease your speed using these buttons. You don't have to use the throttle either. So yeah, pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feature to have on a bike, even though I don't really use it all that often. Another cool thing that you can do with cruise control on modern bikes is that you can close the throttle and then push it forward a little bit like that, and that will cancel the cruise control. So I've set the cruise control here, right? It's running at 33 mile an hour. And then at the moment I haven't got my hand on the throttle. If I close it, just twist it, close a little bit more, it will turn off the cruise control. Pretty neat. Pretty cool, pretty ergonomic, and it's right at your fingertips. Yeah, a pretty cool little design feature. I mean, that's the thing, you guys. Like, if you're using cruise control, in theory, you can take your hand off of the handlebar and ride it like this to rest this hand. But usually it's your clutch hand that you're going to want to be resting. But it's nice to have that option. Obviously, of course, if you apply the brake, the cruise control turns off as well. Alright, so I'm going to get up to 40 mile an hour here if I can in first gear, which I can, but all the traffic is slowed down to a crawl. And I'm going to see if the cruise control works in first gear. Okay. The cruise control does not work in first gear. What about second gear? Okay, does not work in second gear either. So you have to be in third gear and up, which does make sense. But when you're in traffic like this, you can just set it and be like, yeah, okay, I'm cruising. And you can increase the speed here with this button. Alright, you can see there's a little green arrow that came up there, telling you that the bike was picking up speed. Or you can go down. All you gotta do is hold the button and the bike will slow down. It's nowhere near as quick as using the throttle though, by the way, guys. Alright, it does slow down. It gets quicker and it slows down slowly, if you know what I mean. Alright, it's not a huge like jolt, not a huge thud forward. Alright. Now we're getting up to a 60 mile an hour road. Yeah, fifth gear, set, and forget. There you go, as easy as that, you guys. The bike rides itself. Now there are cruise control systems on bikes coming out these days where it has automatic distance control. On the H2SX from Kawasaki, it's a fairly new thing. I think it came out for it is either the 2023 model year or the 2024 model year, where yeah, you could set the cruise control to a certain speed, but then it has a sensor on the front that enables the active cruise control, where it will automatically slow you down or speed you up depending on whether or not there is traffic in front of you. In fact, that's one thing I did want to test out actually. So I'm in fifth. All I wanted to do was see if I could get into the next gear whilst cruise control was still active, but using the gear shifter, when you're using the quick shift, if you're going up or down on the quick shift, it will cancel the cruise control as well. So that's something else to keep in mind there. But yeah, on bikes like the H2SX, you're getting active cruise control, I think as standard. I don't think it's on the SE model, but it might just be SE, I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a year ago now since I rode that bike, since I did our review on it. Definitely go and check that one out though, if you're looking to buy a Super Tourer. I mean, that's arguably one of the best on the market, although it is a very expensive motorcycle, but you are getting the best of the best when it comes to modern day rider aids and features. But yeah, the active cruise control again is really neat because it allows you to set your speed, and then depending on the traffic around you, it will adjust your speed accordingly. You don't have to touch the buttons at all to adjust how fast you're going, which is pretty neat. And again, it's a feature that you see in a lot of modern day cars, but I mean, that's the first instance I've ever seen of it on a motorcycle, you know. Let's see if I can get past all this traffic, you guys. My goodness. Livestock in here. Alright, go on. Why are you being a prick? Hey? Come on, why are you letting me through? Oh, for God's sake, honestly. Some drivers, man. Screw it. If they're not going to let me through, then I'm going to force my way through. Arseholes. Alrighty. Yeah, these are the kinds of roads, you guys, that I was hoping to show cruise control to you. So, right, let's set it again. So unfortunately the speed of the traffic is only letting me go 40 mile an hour here. But if I try upshifting, it cancels the cruise control, so I've got to set it again. You can, whilst the cruise control is set, manually use the throttle, so you can manually increase your speed and then set it again if you wanted to. If you wanted to get that quick acceleration off the line or to get away from traffic, and then set your cruise control once you've gotten away from everything, that's an option for you as well. But yeah, and of course, I mean, it retains your speed here. Now, on a lot of older cars that have cruise control, it doesn't actually tell you what speed you're doing, but it does have a reset button. On the bike here, you've got a reset button that allows you to hit that, and then it automatically puts you back up to the speed that you were at when the cruise control came off, right? So I'm about to brake here. I'm going to indicate. I'm going to brake. The cruise control has come off. I can go ahead and upshift, downshift, do whatever it is I want to do or need to do. I go around the roundabout, being careful not to run into any cars here. Alright, go up a couple of gears. And then reset. Interesting, so it won't let you reset. Okay, so if I use my brake, it cancels the reset. Right, so I've set that. You'll see in a second what speed it'll be at. Slow down a bit. So then if I off the throttle, okay, yeah, so it says there 52, I can hit reset and it will go. It will go back up to 52. And by the way, I mean, it doesn't do it quickly. It does it gradually, you know. So you don't have to worry about having both hands on the handlebars when you hit that reset button. But if I hit the brake, oh no, interesting. It does retain the speed there. So it must be if I shift gears. Oh, it's because I went to first or second, maybe. Okay. Interesting. I'm not entirely sure why it cancelled my cruise control there. I don't know. That's a weird one. Because I would have thought it would have kept my speed going around that roundabout. I'll have to do a little bit more experimenting there on that. But, I mean, that's pretty much it, you guys. That is how cruise control works on a motorcycle. It's really intuitive, really straightforward. Yamaha, they used to have like this little dongle, well, a little like stick that came out of the unit cluster on the left hand side that you could use to adjust your speed going up and down or setting your speed. That was a little bit less convenient than the solution here, And I think Yamaha have gone to a solution like this, similar to Kawasaki. Makes more sense to me, in my humble opinion. But really simple, really easy to use. I can increase my speed gradually. I can decrease my speed gradually. Just like that. I can use the brake to turn off the traction, every control possible, the cruise control, and I can twist the throttle closed just a little bit, and that will turn off the cruise control as well. But look, this is what I can do here. I have this hand free to just rest if I want to. Not recommended, because whilst you're riding, you are going to want access to this brake first and foremost. All right, this is the brake that's going to be doing 90% of your stopping power when it comes to braking or slowing down on a bike. So you do want to keep this hand here ready to go. But if you just need a slight rest, or maybe you need to fiddle around with a mirror or something like that whilst you're on the move, this gives you the option to do that. Pretty neat, isn't it? It's a pretty neat little feature. Although, just be careful, if you're running up to like speed cameras and things like that, which we are about to run up to now, make sure you've turned your cruise control off and you're back down to the speed that you need to be, you know, because that's the problem, you guys, with cruise control. You could be cruising at 50 miles an hour on a road like this, it could automatically just drop like that very quickly, and you don't notice it. Right, so close that throttle, let the bike slow down, set it again. Okay, speed camera just coming up here. Right, I'm gonna speed up a little bit more. There we go. So I've set it to 40, 41, 42 mile an hour. You can increase your speed and then set it again. All right. No, you can't. Of course, because it's already set. Can I? Okay, I can. You just got to hold the button down a little bit more. So you can have the throttle open whilst it's already set. Right, so we'll speed up again. Then set. Yeah, it sets to 57 there. Okay, so yeah, that works as well. But that's something else that you can do. If you don't want to wait for the buttons to speed you up, you can speed up using the throttle and then hit the cruise control button, the set button again to to set the new speed. But yeah, pretty neat feature, I think, you guys, and it's probably a feature I should use more often, truth be told. It's a really neat little thing, and especially on a commute to work where I'm just chilling and I'm not really worrying about going as fast as I can necessarily. I just want to get there and get there with good time without having to stress too much. And as you saw there, even on roads where traffic was pretty heavy, there were still opportunities for me to use the cruise control. But yeah, the best opportunity to use cruise control is either on a motorway, which is there, it's boring. Motorway riding is very boring, but yeah, that is probably the best use case for cruise control on a motorcycle, as it is in a car. But you can also set it as well on country roads when you've got a little bit less traffic around you. You don't need to worry about overtaking, you don't need to worry about filtering, and you can just cruise. By the way, as well, that little button comes up there. So if I turn little button, that little light comes on. So if I turn off cruise control, then turn it back on again, you'll see a little light that illuminates there. So it's not just on the dashboard, on the TFT, kind of like on the main bit of the dashboard. You also have a little light there that tells you when your cruise control is on. But yeah, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little ride out with us today, and I hope it's encouraged you to use your cruise control, because it's a seriously new feature on a lot of modern day bikes. I can see riders kind of like avoiding it, not for any other reason than either they don't know how it works or they don't feel like it's suitable to use that on their bikes on most of the type of riding that they do. But yeah, if you want to commute like me today, then go ahead and set it, because the traffic isn't moving that quickly. I can increase my speed, set it again. There you go, it's got set up to 42 mile an hour here. It's really easy, you guys. Really easy, really straightforward, and there's lots of points throughout your ride where you could use this. You know, I'm coming out closer to this car, so I'm going to turn my speed down. using the button. And most of the time you don't have to adjust it all that much anyway, which is probably why it's quite slow in its adjustment. But yeah, there you have it, everyone. If you've enjoyed this video with us today, and if you've learned something and it's encouraged you to use cruise control on your newer motorcycle, then please go ahead and leave that like, hit that subscribe button down there and that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos like this from us. And yeah, you guys, I think that's everything from me. We'll catch you all in the next video, everyone. Take care, ride safe, have a good one.